Hey guys, how's it going? This is Cards of the Heart, and this is Puzzle General's Pokemon Puzzle League Speedrun Tournament 2020 Tournament Preview. We ended up with 14 players entered into this tournament. We'll look at the format of the tournament itself, all of the players that are involved, and give our little predictions for how the tournament is going to go. And to help me go through what is going to happen in this tournament are a couple of other fellow Puzzle League speedrunners. Please introduce yourselves.
So, I'm Litenang. I'm kind of an old school runner / racer. I've always enjoyed racing this game and playing versus.
I'm Tetrisattakr. Played Tetrisattakr for a lot of years and jumping over for this tournament for this format.
Oh well, thank you both of us. Thank you both of you for being here, and this is the first Pokemon Puzzle League tournament we've had in the past 3 years, and I would say quite a bit has changed since then. The times for a hard mode, V hard, and S hard have changed quite a bit, and those are the three difficulties we will be playing in for this tournament. So I'll start with you, TA. What do you guys expect to see from this upcoming tournament?
This is going to be a fun one for me. The format starts with hard mode, which to me is very familiar coming from Tetrisattakr. It's got a lot of that feel. There's definitely some randomness, some luck involved, but it feels a lot quicker. It's not as punishing if you miss something. But having learned S hard for this tournament, that's going to be a very different feel for those high level players that get there. It's fun to watch. It's a lot of fun watching. Gotten to see up close and personal a lot of Taman's practice runs, including watching his brand new record in that S hard category, and it's a very different beast.
Yeah, I'm super interested. For the people that know me, I kind of left speedrunning this game quite a few years ago when very hard and S hard were not consistent at all. But lately, you've seen players consistently pull off what was previously unheard of times. I think it's going to be amazing. You're seeing even some of the lower tier players pull off really, really good times. So, I mean, there could be a whole bunch of dark horses. There are people still learning and improving. People like TA who kind of hopped over, who are really fast, and all they really need to do is just get used to it. So there's going to be a lot of competition. It's going to be really good.
Yeah, I do expect this field to be very, very wide open. I would not be surprised to see one of maybe 6 players. So almost half the field would not surprise me if they were the ones that ultimately came away with the victory. If there's going to be a winner in this tournament, I think it's going to be the game. The game always finds a way to win at the end, and hopefully we'll be able to see some pretty good matches along the way. So, for those of you who have somehow not seen this game, if you've been following this channel for a while, you probably are most familiar with this game, as this is the game that our community was founded on. But for those of you who are new, looking at this game for the first time, let me show you a little bit of how the game is supposed to be played. Pokemon Puzzle League is a Match 3 puzzle game first released for the Nintendo 64 on September 25th, 2000 in North America and March 2nd, 2001 in Europe. It was re-released on the Nintendo Wii Virtual Console in both regions in May 2008. It is a Match 3 puzzle game in that if you match at least 3 of the same panel either horizontally or vertically, the panels will disappear. To win, however, you need to do more than just simply match 3 at a time. You need to make combos and chains to not only prevent your gradually rising stack from reaching the top of your playfield for a time, but also to send garbage to your opponent to make their stack reach the top of their playfield. You make combos by matching more than 3 panels in a row at the same time. They don't keep your stack from rising for very long, but they do send small garbage to your opponent that can prove to be very disruptive. You make chains by linking sets of 3 or more matches together. Make a set of panels disappear, and then have the panels immediately above them fall into another match. Not only does this keep your stack from rising for a longer period of time, but it will make thicker garbage blocks that will be more effective at actually filling out your opponent's stack to the top. If your stack reaches the top of your playfield and the game tries to break your stack through the top, you lose. So you want to avoid this at all costs and force it on your opponent as much as possible. To beat these computer opponents, you'll have to either make sure that they run out of time while their stack is completely topped off, send so much garbage to your opponent so they can no longer make a move, or send garbage to your opponent in such a way so that they think that they can no longer make a move. Hard mode contains 15 stages, and V-Hard and S-Hard have 16. In this tournament, players will be racing through those stages to get to the end as fast as they can. The first player to defeat the final opponent wins the race. The first player to win 3 races wins the match. Best of luck to all of our players. And with that, let's talk about what we're actually going to be doing in this tournament. As was mentioned in the video, all of our matches will be the best of 5. So we're going to be racing these matches in the one-player stadium. We'll be doing it a maximum 5 times, and the first to 3 will win the match. We have 14 players, as I said, entered. They're all divided into 4 different round-robin groups. So there will be 2 groups with 3 players, and again the group stage will be all played on the hard difficulty level as opposed to V-Hard or S-Hard. We don't want to scare everyone out immediately. We'll wait for the final bracket to do that. So because the biggest group has 4 players, I'm giving all of our competitors 4 weeks to complete one best-of-5 match with everyone in their group. And then the top 2 players in each group will advance to the final bracket. So guys, what are your thoughts on how this group stage is going to be conducted?
I actually think this group stage it's very interesting that the difficulty is increasing with each stage of the tournament, especially since the strategies and gameplay that players have to produce is very different for each of the difficulties. You're going to be seeing the players play a different way to effectively beat hard mode, and then a different style to beat V-Hard, and different for S-Hard. So it's not going to only take just playing well. You have to really be able to adapt your strategies, and there's a lot of on-the-fly watching of your opponent, if that is a proper way to put it. So this will be very, very cool to see. And the cool thing is that seeding from the groups to bracket stage might be a little deceptive. Some players are definitely better in certain difficulties than others, but you should see primarily the top players move onto winner's side.
Yeah, I think hard mode's definitely going to have some good opportunity for some people who you might not know the names if you follow, but they are definitely skilled players in perhaps other formats. It lends to some of those players, someone who's familiar with, say, Tetrisattakr versus or another game entirely, but they have that skill set. They can transfer that over. I think we're going to see some upsets. We're going to see some people make it out of that first group stage in hard mode, who are definitely going to improve over just the course of a couple matches. and then the more intricate and more specific and frankly fussy strategies that are required in the later difficulties are going to really showcase some of those top level players as that continues on. But hard mode's going to be a little bit more of that free-for-all kind of feel in a couple of these groups in particular that have some really close skill matchups.
Yeah. I think I will be really interested to see who's able to really hone their strategies in hard mode and see how much of that actually carries over to the later rounds. So as was alluded to, once we get the groups down to the final 8, we will move into a double elimination bracket. And the way this final bracket is going to be structured, you have to win a match on the V hard difficulty before you get to the mode that basically all of the top players like, and that's going to be S hard. You have to earn your way to it. So it's going to be very light on the V hard play, but it'll be just enough to get your feet wet before you really have to set your feet to the fire. And once we get to that point, players will have a week to complete each of those bracket matches as they come. And the goal, our personal goal, is to try to do the top four matches in the same day. It's going to depend on when everyone's available, but that is going to be the goal. We may not be able to stream every group stage match live, but the goal is to get to every bracket match live. So you will get to see those. You'll get to see those. We hope we'll get to see those matches as they unfold on here on Puzzle General. And when we get to the grand finals, the person who goes through completely undefeated will get a reward. They will get a prestigious 1-0 lead against the person coming from the loser's bracket. So the winner's bracket will have to only take down 2 races before the loser's bracket person takes down 3, just giving even more motivation to stay on top of your game and not slip up even once. So that's how the flow of the tournament is going to go. Let's talk about all of the individual players that are going to be taking part in this grand event. We'll first start at the bottom. We'll go with the last person to qualify for this tournament, Ty, a player most experienced with Tetrisattakr Online and the PvP scene. In fact, they learned to speedrun this game just to get into this tournament, but they are definitely no stranger to the engine and to the mechanics, winning some pretty hotly contested player versus player tournaments. And I'll throw this over to you guys, starting with Lightning first. We've been seeing more and more players from the PvP side, players who have been experienced with playing at higher speeds than this game's story tends to provide. We've been seeing them cross over and really make a mark on the community as a whole. So we'll start with you, Lightning. What do you think when you see all these players coming from a place of a really high skill level jumping into the speedrunning of these games?
Absolutely. Players like this who come from PvP and are very well versed in PvP, I think they'll actually adjust pretty quickly. He might have already adjusted to the engine, and they might just not have grinded enough to really internalize the strategies. Players who come from the PvP side, they can easily perform in hard once they start learning strategies. If they put in just a little bit of time, they can be real contenders. I actually would not count any of these PvP players out of the tournament either. They can be some real dark horses.
Yeah, Ty in particular is going to be one of those players where don't look at their qualifying time and discount them. When you've got someone who clearly has the skill level and the speed, the board vision to be able to do some of that PvP strategies, it's just a learning curve that isn't going to take very long. 2 weeks from now is going to look very different than the speed that was put forward in qualifying just to be able to get into the tournament. This is one of the examples I mentioned earlier of where we're going to have to watch some people who we don't necessarily know in the PPL scene, who are definitely poised to be able to make some good impacts, some very entertaining matches, I think, as well.
Yeah, admittedly, I don't know very much about Ty aside from his experience with Panel Attack on the Tetrisattakr online side, and they're also playing on emulator, which as you might be seeing throughout this list. There aren't actually too many players who signed up that play on emulator, and I would think playing on emulator would, if you have that experience with PvP and being able to play on like a keyboard or a similar PC like setup, that it might be easier to make that transition if you're playing on emulator as opposed to if you were playing on an official console. So TA, you think there's any validity in that theory?
As the resident emulator runner, yeah, I think there very well might be. When you make a transfer from controllers completely, when you're going from, say, a Super Nintendo SNES standard controller, going over to the D-pad for an N64 controller, or heaven forbid you're one of those players that uses a control stick, it's a big transition. But when you're used to playing on your preferred format with whatever your preferred controller is, that transition is going to be a lot cleaner. Where you just have to learn the gimmicks of the game engine, where the lag sits, but your own physical inputs are not going to be part of that learning curve. I think that's a real advantage for people who are used to it.
I'll go ahead and say, as somebody who played both with D-pad and keyboard on multiple different, because I also play Tetrisattakr on the SNES, it's really not as bad as it first seems. I think everybody, there is the initial learning curve, but once they get into the groove of it, which shouldn't take too long, it should feel not very different. That being said, being on your preferred controller or keyboard always helps. Everyone has a favorite controller, and I imagine that these guys have their favorite daily keyboard that it's a source of comfort, which always helps with easing some of the nerves, easing some of the controls.
Yeah, it's been really fun to see the PvP players try to cross over and do these speedruns. Like take a look at Yoshimitsu, who's one of the top PvP players in the world. And he went toe-to-toe with me for the last tournament crown in Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. In fact, he's already taken just about all of my records at this point. So he's definitely been he's definitely shown some ability to a crossover and transition to those lower speeds accordingly. And I do wonder how many people going forward are going to take a look at these games against these CPUs and wonder if there's going to be any value for them in speedrunning these games. Like Ty is definitely going to be a bit of an enigma in this tournament, and as we alluded to, you do not want to sell anyone short if they are as skilled in player versus player as Ty has shown himself to be. So this is definitely one of the players we need to keep an eye on going forward. Let's go on to number 13, Buster Beachside, who plays on an actual console and started speedrunning Pokemon Puzzle League for this tournament. This is a relatively new person who has also done a couple runs for Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, so I don't know too much about their style of play, but they do also have a sub 10 hard mode time, so they are definitely showing themselves to be someone to watch in the group stage. And yes, he actually does live close to a beach, which is nice.
Not quite beachside.
Cards. I was going to point out as well that this is the lowest ranked sub 10 hard time on the board. In fact, everybody ranked 7 and above has a time sub 10, but the only person ranked 8 through 14 with a sub 10 qualifying time, not overall PB, but qualifying time, is Buster Beachside. So definitely got some skills, at least transferring to hard mode here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Puzzle Challenge is also a more regimented game speedrunning wise. It's more reliable in how to clear each stage as opposed to Puzzle League. So there might be a little bit of adjustment, but seeing based off his hard time, I think he will be very good in hard and very hard. There might be a bigger adjustment towards S hard if he does make it there, which might be the only worry if he has not put in enough time to S hard by that point. But he should make a pretty strong showing in at least the group stage.
Yeah, I will say the regimented, the very specificness of Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, where you're looking for a certain amount of combos and chains to finish a stage, might actually be an advantage in hard mode, where a lot of the most effective strategies seem to revolve around dropping a very specific amount of garbage on that first wave, which may very well be an advantage, just being used to that type of strategy.
Yeah, good thoughts. Good thoughts all around there. I honestly don't know much else about Buster. The thing that I most associated him with lately is he's been enthusiastically involved with the development, not inside the development team, but keeping up with the development of the iOS game Super Plexus, as it's being ported to Windows and hopefully Android devices in the near future. It's one of the more prominent Puzzle League clones we've seen from fans in recent memory. So yeah, I'll definitely be interested in seeing what Buster is going to be able to put together, though his group situation might hold him back on that front, but we'll talk about more about those groups as we go along.
I think Litenang may have some opinions about that particular group.
We can talk about
we'll
later.
get to those in a little bit. yes, we'll definitely get to those soon, but for now, let's take a look at the person qualified 12th in this tournament. A bit of a Yoshi's Cookie expert, as it were, in raikourider. Been very enthusiastic in entering these Puzzle General speedrun tournaments. He also plays on N64 console, and this is his fourth tournament appearance. And when the back is against the wall for various titles, Raiko has managed to take it down with winning the redemption bracket consolation bracket tournaments for not only the 2017 tournament but also the 2018 tournament. Who knows? Who knows if there's a lucky streak that will allow Raiko to really make some noise in this tournament. Start with UTA. What do you guys think about Raiko's chances?
Everyone in this format seems to have a chance, especially when we have the top 2 from every group advancing. I don't think anybody who's going to be locked out of doing something. And Raiko's got a long history of picking off wins, where, especially as you've noted here on the player card on redemptions. So we're not looking at easy outs on anyone, and Raiko certainly is someone not to be slept on.
I also agree, but at the same time, from my observances of his tournament appearances, it really depends on how much time he's able to put into it. He can be very momentum based. If he's getting a whole bunch of good runs, you can kind of expect him to continue to do so. But if he starts out kind of slow, he might be out before he has the time to really get into the groove of things too. So
yeah, what I can't remember what other things Raiko's involved with. He's a bit of a prominent runner within the Donkey Kong Country series. He's played like I think 2 or 3 in marathons before.
I played Pokemon Stadium. He does do randos.
Big on randomizers. Yes, I remember that much. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he's able to commit to this tournament, and if he does bring that commitment, what fruit that effort might bring for him.
I just pulled up Raiko's speedrun.com board, and I've scrolled 6 times and have not reached the bottom of games he's submitted on. So he's got a hand in everything, and when he's got the time to put to it, as you mentioned, Lightning, it's one of a couple in this group that might be a little bit slow starter, but momentum's a heck of a thing.
Yeah. Like everyone's gonna be interested. It's gonna be interesting to see what everyone does in this tournament. But Raiko, if he's able to put in the time, who knows? Who really knows? This feels like one of the more wide open tournaments we've had in recent memory. I'm getting really excited to get into it the closer we get. Which that's gonna open up actually in less than a few hours from this recording. So we'll be able to hopefully get that action underway this week and really show you guys just what this game is about. But before then, we've got a few more players to run through and as to their status in this tournament. So let's go to the number 11 seed, a bit of a veteran in the speedrunning scene, Karaoke. She's also a console player. She started speedrunning this game in 2017 for the 2017 tournament, and as I said, she's been doing various speedrunning things since 2006, harkening back to the days of Speed Demos Archive, where you had to submit VHS tapes of your run recordings to SDA to get them verified as such. What do you two know? What else do you two know about her?
Absolutely no stranger to pressure. She's also participated in tournaments numerous times, so she is definitely a more consistent player. I know that she does struggle a little bit more with S-Hard, so that will be possibly an obstacle later on, but she can probably snipe off some wins off some better players if they get a bad run or two, so that'll be a little bit interesting as well.
Yeah, definitely a player I've been looking forward to doing some races on, and it looks like we'll get to that later. But interesting tidbit I found here. We have ourselves a world record holder in a couple of speedrun.com categories, including Harvest Moon 64 and Shepherd's Crossing.
Wow, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Shepherd's Crossing. It's been ages since I've heard her being associated with the game. It almost makes me intrigued to look it up and play it every time I see her play it. It's just a weird memory for me to fall back on. But so that's our number 11 seed in this tournament, and I think we know our number 10 seed fairly well.
Just a little
in this tournament, just a little bit. It's our very own Litenang, playing in his 4th Puzzle General Speedrun Tournament. Despite all of the protesting and all the kicking and screaming, we dragged him here. He's here. He's playing, I guess. But let's not sell yourself short, Litenang. You did hold the V-Hard world record once upon a time. You've got some chops. Do not sell yourself so short. What do you realistically think your chances are in this tournament?
So another funny thing is that the easier the mode, the worse I perform in this game. It is well known that easy is my worst mode in this game. I think my time is like 9 minutes something, which I'm pretty sure I can beat in hard mode for some reason. So
the earlier modes are definitely weird. That they require so many different things that don't always feel like the normal way to play. So I certainly can understand that. And
easy mode.
Easy mode feels like a meme.
Easy mode just doesn't feel right. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Also, mad respect. I've loved Wario's Woods for years, and it's a speed game. I think at some point I might end up picking up.
You should.
So I may have to hit you up for that at some point to learn the run.
I might not be the best person for that, but anyways. I also prefer versus more than speedrunning this game, but I am not an active online panel attack player. So we'll see how good of a run I can pull out. I'd be happy to get some PBs on the way, and however far I make it, we'll see how it goes.
Well, something I've at least seen even more active in, especially in recent years, is the Speedruns Live Mystery Game Tournament, which I believe the next tournament is number 15, is it not?
Yes, I am a moderator for that, and I help run the tournament, so that will be also pretty interesting.
Yeah, and there's still some time from this recording to sign up for that tournament if you feel like playing games without knowing exactly what game you're going to play or what objective you're going to have in the game. Mystery Tournament 15 will close its signups within the next couple of weeks, so make sure you follow SRL Mystery on Twitter if you want to find the signups for that tournament. I was a former participant in a few of those tournaments. I didn't find it to be my cup of tea, but I'm sure there are people who like going into various games blind, not seeing the game before, who might find that a bit more intriguing. There's definitely a crowd and a mindset for that, so feel free to seek that out if that's something you're interested in. It even inspired us at Puzzle General to put together a mystery tournament that was exclusively puzzle games called Mystery Puzzle Challenge, and I think there is some point in the near future where I want to attempt to try that again, because there are definitely some good things that we got out of that experience. Now we move on to the number 9 seed, who might be a bit more qualified to talk about a game like Wario's Woods. It is ilikebeingSmart, another N64 console player, and like Lightning, this is her 4th Puzzle League Speedrun Tournament appearance. One of the veterans of this game, like Lightning, who's been playing since 2013, and she actually finished in 5th, 6th at the 2018 Tetrisattakr tournament, and yeah, she's one of the better Wario's Woods players to learn that game if you are so inclined to get more information about that. I'll start this with you, TA. What do you guys think about her chances in this one?
Definitely has a good chance. Been around this game for quite a while, and has a lot of good knowledge of the game, and definitely some skills, some very good cursor speed, comboing, being able to fit together a chain when you need to get that garbage in there. So she's definitely got a great chance, I think, here. That experience should be able to translate into something. I know a recent event she was commentating for Tay, and they were talking about some of their experiences back before some of the modern S-hard strategies were discovered, and doing multiple game nights and runs versus against each other on speedrunning with a bunch of other members of the community. So there's a lot of learned knowledge and different strategies that I'm sure she can whip out as needed, that she's picked up. So she's definitely got a good chance here, I think.
Absolutely, a veteran of our old nightly S-hard race, and being one of the older players, she also has a lot to adapt to with modern strategies. She's no stranger to the game, and once she gets the new strategy, she could pull off really, really good times as well. So that you can't sleep on them. I mean, there's just too many competitive players here, and any one of them can just pull off a great time, and we'll have to see how consistently everyone can pull off a great time to really steal a spot and cause some upsets.
Yeah, I know she's got no problem pulling out some good times in a competitive environment. I remember the Tetrisattakr tournament 2 years ago with one of the early stages, and she pulled a PB in race. So that's certainly something that she could pull on. But you're right, there are a lot of competitor. We've mentioned it on every person so far, not someone to sleep on, and I think that's going to hold true for all 14 of our participants.
Yeah, I will say I'm very, very thankful for those nightly S-hard races back in 2013. It was me, after watching some YouTube videos of the one and only Worcester doing Pokemon runs, and him getting involved in Speedruns Live got me into Speedruns Live, and the nightly S-hard races caught my eye, and I tried to do some runs before getting involved in those races, and I got involved in those races. I won my very first S-hard race somehow, and the rest, as they say, is history. So I am very very thankful for the efforts that those like Nicole, ilikebeingSmart here, and Lightning, and everyone else that was playing the game very kind of seriously back in those days. You almost wonder if we should try to bring those back. Almost. I don't really have the time. I've got a full 9-to-5 job. I can't really afford to do that anymore. But those days were fun.
we'll find someone who can man those at some point here.
All right, let's go over to the number 8 seed, who is also in ilikebeingSmart's group, and it is 6, a very, very accomplished Tetris 99 player and Tetris Effect player, getting involved in his first Puzzle League Speedrun Tournament, and it's been doing speedruns for about a year now, and already has the 12th highest S-hard time with a 21-minute something that very much came out of nowhere as S-hard personal best tend to come. So I'll start this with you, Lightning. You think there are any skills from games like Tetris 99 and Tetris Effect that could carry over to this game?
Definitely from Tetris 99. It really requires watching your opponents well, which is a skill that I'm still trying to build myself. If you can watch your opponent, especially for V-hard and S-hard, watching those CPUs is the name of the game. If you got your chains and combos down, that is the next biggest thing to be able to reliably pull off good times. So if he can make it through the group stage, this is a very scary player to watch out for. Could be pulling off some sick PBs. So
yeah, I agree. Timing is everything on especially the V-hard and S-hard categories, and timing is everything on a lot of those Tetris versions and gameplay modes where you can do a lot of things very quickly and not get anywhere. But if you can time it right, you can really make some noise, and that's a skill that's really hard to learn. So at this point, it sounds like we've got us a competitor who just either has started to or just needs to transfer some of that knowledge. It's less of a learning curve than a lot of us have to face in that screen watch and knowing that right moment to drop something on your opponent is key.
Yeah, we'll just parrot the same thing over and over again. There's not an easy out in this entire tournament, and as we go through the higher half of the seeds here, we start to run into the people who could have a legitimate shot of winning this whole thing. And who knows? 6 gets on a hot streak, and stranger things have happened with this game. I would not put it past this game to allow that to happen. So I will definitely look forward to seeing if that happens. Let's go on to the number 7 seed, a relatively new player to Pokemon Puzzle League, but has been a bit acquainted with Tetrisattakr for a while. It's Cozypocket, playing in his second Puzzle League Speedrun Tournament experience. But yeah, he's third. He has the third best Tetrisattakr V-hard time, and he only just started speedrunning this game for this tournament. Already has a sub-9 hard mode time. Like, oh man, oh goodness gracious! I'm so worried if I'm gonna have to run into Cozypocket, especially if it gets into brackets. Like, this is gonna be very, very scary. You guys agree?
Oh, for sure. This guy, so I'm not as involved in the community, but this guy literally just came out of nowhere, and I mean, if you didn't know better, you'd think he was labbing for years. Oh man, I actually don't know what to expect, but his times are, I mean, they speak volumes. So
I've been me and him have been doing Tetrisattakr V-hard races with each other, working on our times together for over 2 years now. He's faster than his V-hard time in Tetrisattakr says, and he's got third place. So he's got some crazy field vision. He's one of those players that you watch in awe when he picks out those combos that dropping a 6 combo into something feels pretty easy, but then you suddenly have this 11 combo that came out of nowhere. He is a little streaky, so he will put 3 or 4 of the best times you've ever seen in a row, and then have a couple matches that really get him frustrated. So as long as he's in the groove, he's going to be someone to watch completely. And honestly, even when he's not on it, he's got some of the best skills that I've seen up close and personal, and it'll take him a long way. Even when he's not on it, he's dangerous.
Yeah, I'm especially worried about Cozy in particular, as I and Lightning know. We'll get into the details of this later, but Cozy is in our group, and Cozy's going to be really, really hard to knock down as well as he's shown his skill in recent years, and just getting into this game so quickly and getting such good times. I'm really worried about winning my group match with him. It's good. It's gonna be quite the task indeed for anyone that has to go up against him. But let's take a look next at the number 6 seed, who might be someone that you may know. It is our own Tetrisattakr, another one of the other N64 emulator players in the field, competing in his second tournament. More experience with Tetrisattakr, as you said, TA, and you have the 7th best time in TA VHard. So what are you expecting to do in this tournament, TA?
I think this is going to be a really fun tournament. I don't take it for granted that I might make it out of the group stage, because nothing should be taken for granted on this one. I do think that my personal hurdle is going to be S hard. I actually like V hard, and I know that Tay and a couple other players are not fans of it. They feel that V hard is the void between hard and S hard, but I actually really liked that category. It was the first one I picked up moving over to practice for this tournament. So I feel like S hard's going to be a different category for me. Some people on the Discord have seen my opinions about S hard mode, but the hard mode in particular, it's a fun twist on that Tetrisattakr style and feel of a game that I've done for years. It's definitely something that I've done a long time, but putting it towards this slightly new category has been kind of fun. I mean, I knew I would pick up PPL at some point once I joined this Discord community, so it was just a matter of time, and it's been a fun learn for me.
Oh man, it really has been exciting to also see people who have been more experienced with Tetrisattakr jump into this. Like I imagine the what am I imagining the transition to be like? Because the highest levels of Tetrisattakr actually play at a higher speed than this game, and I can tell you from my personal experience, it took me months to get used to the higher speed of Tetrisattakr. It took me so long to get accustomed to that, and it was a long time, probably a year of trying to play through Tetrisattakr before I could even beat Cypher's old record, which had been standing for 4 years at that point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an interesting transition. The game itself on your side of the board plays faster in Tetrisattakr on the higher levels especially, but the AI in the higher levels of PPL plays much faster, even though the game isn't at the same speed. So it's a different feel. It very much is. Even though much of the game engine's exactly the same, there are quite a few times where I'll find myself doing something that, trying to keep up, even though I don't need to, and missing timings because the windows to get those AIs are a lot tighter.
Yeah, well, well, best of luck to you in the tournament. We've got a really good field, and hope you can find a way to break through it and show something respectable. So let's take a look at the number 5 seed. Really starting to get to people who can legitimately win it all, and it is Flagalstan, another N64 console player playing in his 4th Puzzle League tournament. A bit of a veteran in the scene, and actually finished 3rd in the last Puzzle League tournament by pulling off a bit of an upset of sorts. So Flag when he's commuted has definitely shown himself to be very, very capable. Like I don't know how difficult it's going to be this time to quote lower the flag, as we like to joke in our community, but Flag will definitely not be an easy opponent by any stretch of the imagination.
Absolutely not. If you had to ask me the scariest player to face in the tournament, it would be Flag. He is unpredictable and always getting better throughout the tournament. I have played him and stomped him, and then played him again and it was closer, and then played him again and felt like I had no chance. I mean, he is known to consistently improve during the tournament, which is, I mean, if especially in a game like this where RNG can screw you just a little bit and he starts getting faster every round, oh man, he could get close to some world records by the end of the tournament.
Yeah, I scoreboard watch a lot, and as the qualifying time started coming in, I formed kind of a top 6, that I think most likely to make the finals. I didn't really phrase it as win the whole thing, because I know that finals match with the randomness of S-Hard could do anything. But I flagged a top 6, and Flag is where I started, because I knew that there's a lot of really good players who are going to be able to make some noise, outside of that group. But Flag is on the top end of that particular skills gap, at least as it stands now.
Yeah, we will see. We will see who will get the opportunity to lower the flag, as it were, and I believe our number 4 competitor will have something to say about that. It is everyone's favorite line clear expert, FFR Pro 21, a longtime N64 console player who just recently switched to a Wii Virtual Console. So I'll be very intrigued to see what effect that transition has on his times, and he's definitely had a strong showing in these tournaments. He won our very first speedrun tournament in Tetrisattakr in 2016. He has the easy to S-hard record, going through all of the one-player stadium difficulties one by one. And have we mentioned that he actually does play Flash Revolution? Has been playing for over 10 years.
I couldn't imagine that one.
Like you just watch a game of FFR, watch his cursor speed, just, oh my goodness. FFR has got to be the fastest player in this field. Does anyone really come close?
I don't think so.
There are some players who come pretty close, but I don't think any of them are in this tournament, unfortunately.
Yeah, our cursor speed calling card expert here, FFR, that's for sure.
Yeah. So FFR is also one of those that, especially for earlier rounds, I think I honestly think his spot is more secure than a lot of others, because as long as he's playing okay, he will reliably get good times on at least hard and V hard. It'll be interesting to see him really pull out the strats for S hard, as the randomness of it, compared to his more, I want to say, like, calculated style, isn't always a great fit. But for things like versus mode, this guy is a monster. He's a terror. So
yeah, like
Absolutely.
I've seen from what I've seen of FFR, I think the most consistent thing I've seen about him is that he does tend to rely a bit too much on his cursor speed and try to make plays that aren't always feasible without perfect play, instead of going for something simpler that would do just about the same thing. I really do wonder if FFR is going to be able to keep that under control in this tournament, especially as we do get to those later stages where precision will be even more demanded of you. I really can't wait to see if FFR can channel that speed advantage he's got into some really good strategies late in the tournament. Just this top is just so stacked.
Yeah, Cards, you've definitely seen some up close and personal on FFR speed and style. I think the last couple tournaments you've ended up in either a semifinal or a final against him. PPC, I think it was the semifinal matchup, right?
Oh, geez, I don't remember. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, we've definitely had our run-ins with each other over the years in tournament play. But yeah, he's definitely one of the favorites to come out of this tournament, and we're starting to get to that with everyone in this top 5, 4, 3. We're definitely seeing people who could be considered betting favorites to win it all for one reason or another. Let's go to our number 3 seed, the highest seeded emulator player in this tournament. It is Foxy Man, another person coming from the PvP scene and one of the organizers of those tournaments in the Tetrisattakr online Discord. Foxy Man scares me so much. He just started speedrunning this game for this tournament and already has 2, count them, 2 recorded sub 20-minute S-hard runs. I can't even remember if I've gotten 2 sub 20-minute S-hard runs in the past year or 2 years. I'm really worried if I have to run into Foxy Man in bracket. Like, whew, oh man, it's crazy.
We finally come to the players that are the scariest players in the tournament. Like these guys are honestly leagues, from 3 upwards. Like if you just look at the seeding times, there's a huge noticeable gap between these guys and like 4th through 6th. And I mean, just wow. Like you have like a good 2-minute gap between Foxy and the 4th time for V hard, something like that, and then there's like another big gap between the top 3 and 4th for S hard as well. I mean, please somebody take them out in group stage, because if they make it onwards, these guys are gonna.
To your point, I had the slowest S-Hard qualifying time of the top 3 in this tournament, and the next person on the S-Hard list is almost 5 minutes down. So there was a huge apparent skill gap between the top 3 and everybody else, and Foxy Man showing that he's definitely gonna be really tough to get rid of.
Yeah, a group of us have been doing practice races. Taman, Cozy, and I, and Foxy, and wow, just the skill that's being able to put into some of these runs, even when it's even when the RNG, when the luck falls bad, Foxy seems to have an answer in short order. So gonna be someone to watch for sure.
Yeah, still really worried about Foxy. Definitely some legitimate reasons you could cite him as the favorite for this tournament. Those PvP skills have translated very well, but
still have room to improve.
That's the scary part. I think that's the really scary part. There's definitely some noticeable room to improve.
I think Foxy makes 5 or 6 people that we've mentioned that are new to this format, new to this game, but not new to the skill sets that are going to be in here. And Foxy clearly has those skills, and it's already translating into some really good numbers.
Yeah, so Foxy's going to be one of the favorites in this tournament, and I think our number 2 seed can also be considered one of the favorites to win this tournament. Not to toot my own horn, but there I am at the number 2 seed. And now, I'm not saying that because it's me. I'm just saying that because I've won the last 3 speedrun tournaments. Just saying.
Absolutely. If I had some words, Cards is an incredibly hard worker and hard grinder. He will be most familiar with every single mode. So he'll be consistent. He'll be quick. If you want to take this guy down, you better put up some miracle runs, because otherwise this guy's gonna steamroll over everyone.
I actually think this is going to be a really interesting one to watch. Anytime we do any speedrunning tournament, the last 3 as an example, Cards gets written in pen as someone who's going to make it at least quite a ways into that bracket. But to your point, Lightning, I think this might be the one case where, in spite of the grinding, in spite of the attention to detail, Cards might not be the most well-versed in the final mode. This S-Hard mode is one that Cards has put some fantastic times on, and will be someone to watch, and definitely has a great chance at it. But just look at the qualifying times. His S-Hard qualifier is 6 minutes behind the first time, and that's not something that anybody outside of the top 3 has been able to come close to. But that's still a very big gap. So the anticipated matchup of him and Tay, as we've joked, if it comes to pass that way, is not going to be a steamrolling by any stretch.
No, but it will require Tayman to be on his game. Just a little bit of RNG can screw either player both ways. So
absolutely,
whoever makes it to finals, that's going to be a really interesting race to watch, because that mode is very RNG heavy, and skill is a big part, but luck is going to play into it a lot.
I'll tell you right now, I'm worried. I've had this somewhat worrying feeling going into the last few tournaments, especially the last two when Yoshimitsu took part, but this one's probably got me the most worried of all the tournaments we've had. Like, so many people have emerged as legitimate contenders for this crown. I'm actually not liking my odds to repeat that much. I'm really...
Cards, it's interesting. Last year's PPC tournament, you and Yoshi were kind of the co-favorites, but the final mode, Intense, favored you. This tournament is backwards. The co-favorite with you, his best mode is the final mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't see myself slipping up in the group stage, but get to S hard, all bets are off. So I don't know how this is gonna go. This is the most unpredictable tournament I've been looking forward to, but I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely looking forward to see how it plays out for everyone, because I do feel like RNG will be the ultimate factor, and all these players are so close to each other that a bad, just one bad stage can just turn the whole thing for everyone involved. And I think we can stop bearing the lead on this one. We have anyone who's been watching the Puzzle League scene for past few years should know who the top qualifier in this tournament is. It is, of course, Tayman, an N64 console player in his 4th Puzzle League Speedrun Tournament. He's had the S-Hard record for a year and a half and managed to improve it during qualifying, not giving anyone like any chances to catch up to him. It's been quite amazing to see him
For
conquer.
the record, this guy has a 4-minute lead on the next fastest qualifying time. So badly, in fact, that he screwed up the waiting system for S-Hard mode. Just to put it in perspective.
Yeah, we'll talk about the waiting system in a little bit, but he also
I think he's a little salty that Cards actually got in front of him on hard mode, so that his waiting wasn't a perfect 100, but
Unfortunate. Anyways, Tay is also a really good DDR player. As a DDR player myself, he has put up incredible scores too. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this guy except he is de facto the scariest person in the tournament, and for good reason, putting up amazing times for qualifying. Whew.
yes, absurd. I would put if I had a gun put to my head and needed to bet an amount of money that mattered to me on who was going to win this tournament, I would pick Tayman, because it feels like he's peaked at just the right time to take advantage of everything that this tournament has to offer. So
I also know that he happens to really thrive on the competition and on having someone push him, and all of these new runners to the game have been putting some major numbers in, and I think that contributed to him improving his S-Hard time. But I mean, we've had a new addition to the sub 19 group on S-Hard, and a lot of great times and a lot of ones that I think are going to improve throughout this tournament. That's really I think for all of that he says in jest about not liking the game or it being a bad game, he's really enjoying this.
Yeah. Tayman does have a legitimate enthusiasm for the game that few people have demonstrated in recent memory. He just likes to play the game. He doesn't have to speed run it. Doesn't have to be super competitive against other people. He just likes to play the game. And I was a roommate with Tayman at Summer Games Done Quick 2019, we played quite a bit of Puzzle League against each other. It was just fun to play. He's just a fun guy to play with. He loves the game, and there aren't that many people like him in terms of his love for the game. So it shows in his times. Yeah, that's the biggest reason I would weigh him as the biggest favorite to win this tournament. But speaking of weighing, let's go ahead and move over to the list of the seeds to show you how these qualifying ranks were determined. Over the past month, through the month of August, I had players try and submit speedruns to the speedrun.com leaderboard for the game, just for the purposes of getting on this leaderboard to help me best arrange our 4 groups that we're going to be playing in for this opening stage. And as you hopefully be able to tell, each category has its own weight based on the minimum number of matches that the champion will need to play. So for hard mode, in the group stage, there will be 2 groups that have to play 3 matches and 2 groups that have to play 2. So I just took the average and rounded that up to 3. So hard mode will have to play 3 matches. V hard are only going to have 1 for the winner. You win a V hard, you move right on to S hards, which will consist of winners semifinals, winners finals, and grand finals. So the champion could theoretically only need to play 7 matches. 3 of them be on hard, 1 on V hard, and 3 on S hard. So hard and S hard were given the highest weights for this score, and this was all based on a 100-point score given to the top time in each category, which you can see Tayman just blew S hard completely out of the water for everyone by getting that world record in qualifying, getting the full 100 points in that category, as well as in V hard, showing why he could be considered the biggest favorite in this tournament. But I also did my own thing, getting the hard mode record during qualifying, so I got all 100 points for that category. But this might be more coincidence than anything how this has shaken out. But all of the players that did submit an S hard time are the highest seeds in this tournament, and the person who submitted, the lone person who submitted a V hard and not a hard time, got the next highest seed after that. So I was really encouraging people to play all of the levels for me to properly assess their all around skill level. I'll throw this over to Litenang first. What did you guys think of this format for measuring skill level for the tournament?
So I think it's going to be pretty accurate. It's a little bit unfortunate that we don't have all the players doing all the categories. So some of the seating will be a little bit mixed up. But also, I think for the format of this tournament, it works well for everybody who has all 3 times. Maybe I would have put a little bit more weight into hard, because it is kind of the gatekeeper, right? Mm-hmm. It is the one that you have to perform well in order to play V hard, and then thereby to play S hard. So maybe for next time the tournament could be changed up around, but I think generally for most people, especially since the top 10, 11 all have all their times filled in, everyone should be rated roughly in order, and you will see that through most people's times.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, Litenang, because to your comment before, Tayman dropping a world record in that S-Hard category actually de-weighted S-Hard for everybody else. Cards has a 21-28 there, and his category points is 70. If I think going into this, and I think everyone expected Taman to put up a good time. I think everyone's expectation was that in a month he might be able to put up, something in the 17 range, and that a 21 would probably be worth something in the neighborhood of 80 points. But him dropping that actually skewed it away from S-Hard and towards hard for most people's scores in an odd little twist of fate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a few different little, ways that the bounce happened with people's runs in this last month. There's some people who put some really good times up, and there's some people whose times may have lagged a little bit behind their PB times, maybe because they didn't have as much time to grind or whatever the case may be. So it mixed up the groupings a little bit, and I think for some people that'll be a good thing, and for some that'll be a little bit less advantageous in the way they ended up getting seeded. But it certainly made for an interesting month of qualifiers where everyone didn't already know where they were going to sit. It was everyone had to put up a fresh number, and that I think was really good for all of us as a group, putting that time in. For the people who are new, like me, or the people who came from PvP backgrounds, to put in that month, while experienced runners were also having to put in some time to get a number that they were happy with.
Absolutely. And especially for more experienced runners to not rely on an old time, but what you are capable of now.
Absolutely.
So this is the first time that this is my second tournament that I'm organizing. This is the first one that I've had people submit fresh times to the leaderboard in order to use it for their seating. So I take it, would both of you agree that having people do runs to show the current skill level was good for assessing everyone's skill level, or should there ever be a point where you rely on an old time to determine someone's skill level? Like maybe someone last submitted a run like 3 months before the tournament, so it wouldn't have fallen in the parameters of qualifying for this tournament, but but when you're assessing someone's skill level, it may not necessarily be a time that you would completely dismiss in measuring the skill level. So do either of you think that existing times on the board should play any role in how a person should be seeded for this tournament?
I might be a little bit off. I actually don't think they should. I actually like the idea that everyone's playing it now during qualifiers. It generates some hype around the tournament. You can see everybody grinding, see where everybody is in the middle of their grind. Everyone pulls in viewers too, so you can inform people who might not know about it that there's a tournament going on. And I'm sure a lot of my viewers don't normally watch me play puzzle games. Given my general dislike for this game, so some people got pretty interested, and they didn't know I played it. So I'm hoping a bunch of them will at least come watch the tournament matches.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of advantages to having everybody circle back around. Like I mentioned, you get the people learning and you get the people relearning, and then you get the people who run regularly all working at the same time to get the qualifiers. It brings a level to it. I think in future tournaments there might be some room to have a small consideration for a somewhat recent time, but I don't think that would outweigh the advantages of what we've seen here, and the uptick in interest, the uptick in activity, and frankly the leaderboard. As much as the speedrun.com mods have had to be busy taking in all the new times, having that much movement on the board has been really great to see.
Yeah, that was mostly me having to look through all those runs. By the way,
You're not the only mod, but you
Yeah.
felt like it this month. I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Demolition Derby tends to admittedly tends to see more of the new personal best runs nowadays, and he decided to take a back seat to let me handle those times personally. So it was a bit of work for me, and I do appreciate this feedback, because I'm still relatively new to organizing tournaments, and I have ideas for how I want these tournaments to run that may not necessarily be the same as everyone else's, but if people like the way this is being done, then I certainly have no qualms about keeping it that way. But if there are aspects that people don't that people have some sort of issue with, then I'm willing to address that too, and hopefully it can make these tournaments better for everybody. I'd like to be able to hold more of these tournaments in the future, to take reins of them myself. So I really do appreciate all this feedback, and I will make a note to give an opportunity to allow feedback from the participants and other people who were volunteering to help with the tournament, and who were watching the tournament. Also, I've been very hard at work putting together various things that will make the tournament broadcasts better this year compared to just about every other year previous, and I hope you guys will be thrilled to see what I have come up with. But with all that said, we have largely covered everything that is going to affect this tournament. But I want to end this broadcast by looking back at what happened with the last tournament. So one of the crazier moments that happened with the last tournament, one of the most hype moments we've seen in Puzzle General Tournament history, was the very last match of the last Pokemon Puzzle League tournament between myself and BB Forky. We went to I believe we went to we had a bracket reset at that point. We didn't do the 1-0. We didn't do the 1-0 advantage to the winner of the winner's bracket at that point, so I believe we had gone to a bracket reset, and we have gone to a deciding Game 5, and it was a crazy game. So let's sit back for a little bit. You'll want to get some popcorn. This one took a while. So here is the final match of the Pokemon Puzzle League Speedrun Tournament 2017 between Cards of the Heart and BB Forky.
All right, here we go. This is it.
So this is championship point for either player.
It's all down to one game of hopefully merciful AI. Is all down to one game. You gotta just take what you get.
Now, historically for Puzzle General, the final match of these tournaments usually goes to the tiebreaker in the end, and they're always super close. So hopefully they don't disappoint us here today.
Porky with the early lead on Gary 1.
And Gary setting up those chains. He's ready for it.
I've had like 8-minute Gary 1s before. I don't know why I didn't reset at that point, but you know. Gary's capable of it.
I mean, when you're already there, you're kind of like, let's see how far this can go.
Yeah, you know, gotta get that Gary 1 world record. And Forky taking down Brock in 25 seconds. Jumping out to that early 2-stage lead.
Trademark.
On cards, not like this.
Yeah, Gary 1 just going ham on cards right now.
And he's just getting right handles in the right spot. There's the 5 combo. I saw it too. I knew he was going to go for it. Cards is doing a great job of keeping him topped off, but sometimes you just kind of have to let go.
I'm actually wondering why he hasn't reset yet.
Yeah, I am very surprised by that too. I definitely would have reset long by now, but I'm not playing the game, so I don't make those decisions.
It is working out for Forky as Forky is moving on to Misty. Again, because he reset, but still.
And he just went back and beat stage 1 and 2 again. You know,
he did. He
no big
did.
deal.
Trying to keep it friendly here.
There's the reset on card side.
I guess Cards finally had enough.
Yeah, he probably figured, you know, Gary 1 being that he's not really that quick. Probably should have died by now, but just wasn't going away.
And it continues. Gary is just... he's just not having it today. This is the AI's way of telling the players to slow down.
Alright. Looking...
Now card's finally getting out. In stage 1. So with a 4-minute average per 4-minute average, we're gonna be here for a while.
Alright. Oh, and there's Forky getting a nice force kill on Misty. So, still maintaining that 2-stage lead. So, he's doing pretty good.
And the delivery from cards looking good.
Yeah, oh, he screwed up the purple clear there. Allowing cards to get the kill. Very nice.
You know, you could almost commentate the initial volley like baseball, like just throwing a pitch.
Yeah. Oof. Forky with that 7 combo across the top there. Never a good look.
Yeah, 7 combos are never good in this game because basically creates a garbage block that's the entire width of the play field and defeats any and all purpose of getting the force kill.
And just like that, we are equalized. Forky's very early lead has been brought down to about 2 seconds.
Yeah, and that's PPL for you, you know.
Yep.
That could just happen so fast, you know. 1 minute you got a 2-3 stage lead, next minute, oh, tie ball game. What just happened? And just like that, Cards takes the lead.
You can never count anybody out, and no lead is too big, basically. But Forky, not far behind, with a quick kill of his own, is also going to move on to Erica.
I think we're going to be in for a hell of a finish here at this rate.
I'm very much hoping so.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is looking good right now.
Oh, and Cards getting that really unlucky clear. Ooh, it looks good, though. This looks good. Except on that third tier.
Oh, third tier. What is that?
Oh, and he still got
doesn't
it.
get second tier.
Oh, man.
Wow.
How does the AI go to third tier and lose immediately after?
0 stop time.
Wow. That is rare.
And Forky here trying to go full Forky strats and couldn't quite get it.
Give up?
Oh, I got
Hating the AI.
He's lucky those hearts popped up.
Give
though.
up? I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win.
He did have a row of yellow, so he actually had
that-
2
that is
minutes, so
I'm
he
gonna
was
win.
8. Okay.
I'm gonna win. Give up? Prepare to battle.
And
More
Cards.
resets.
Yeah, Cards is going to take his 1 stage lead here. Forky's going to give Erica another go.
Ooh, this is looking good for Cards. Oh, and he gets the kill.
Very nice.
Give up?
And Koga was playing around with a lot of blocks and
I'm gonna win.
definitely messed up any and all opportunities there.
Give up? I'm gonna win. Give up? Give up? I'm gonna win. Give up?
I don't know what it is about Erica. I always seem to have problems on Erica as well, and it looks like it's not just me. Erica is just one of those stages that I don't understand.
It almost seems like
one more line!
The classic one more line from Cards.
Give up?
Chat, spam that one more line, guys.
I don't think that's an emote.
Spam it anyways.
The one more line curse, and that was actually, that should have been a kill. By any means, that should have been a kill.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I have myself been robbed like that.
Give up?
Oh
It
yeah.
is not a good feeling.
I'm gonna win. Give up? I'm gonna win.
Ooh,
That looks
Sabrina
good.
messed up the blues. Wow, Cards with another break.
Again, the AI had the clear.
Oh
It-
yeah, but
it
it
was-
was just in plain sight.
But I guess the AI is always looking to clear it from underneath the lowest block, not to the side of it. So there wasn't 3 rows of blocks, so how do I clear that? The AI is weird in this game. The scanning pattern is weird. But luckily, we're able to kind of figure that out in order to figure out how to manipulate the AI effectively.
We go from Forky jumping out to a 2-stage lead, and now it's Cards with a 3-stage lead. It's PPL. There.
Way to go!
Erica still just giving a lot of problems here, but this actually looks kind of good. It might happen. She has no stop time.
Okay.
There it is.
Hey, all right.
Sometimes you just need to get past the one. It's almost a mental block sometimes when you get hit by and you're stuck on the same stage for a while.
Right. And Cards there with another very good looking quick kill against Blaine. He's going to maintain that lead. That's the other thing. I know these players don't watch the stream, so they don't know where the other one is at.
Yeah. And Forky with a beautiful force kill on Koga there.
Forky getting those very quick kills, trying to close up that lead. And we do have Cards on Trollsy here. Trollsy's doing a lot. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Cards on a roll right now.
Congratulations, you've won!
Yeah, that Cards cleanup crew, they're going to work right now.
Oh, that looks good for Forky. Oh no.
Oh no, the
It still
purple!
might be good. It still might be good. Oh no, the purples! Oh no!
Oh my
Over.
goodness.
That looked so good too.
It was
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
Unfortunate block placement on the bottom there.
Oh, that just looks so good for so long, and just the AI just knew how to play those purples.
And the AI on card side actually setting up like a multiple chain clear on that garbage. I don't see the AI do that too often.
Another good looking
Yeah,
setup for Forky.
Yeah, I think to me, there's only like
Oh my god. Again.
I think to me, there's only like certain AIs that will look for like all the possible blocks to line up with the garbage.
Yeah, like they'll usually try and do like look at Forky's side right there with a 9 there, which is crazy. Like you never expect them to do that.
Oh, and then T-Rock could go second tier on Forky. Now that's rude.
Uh-huh. And they got another second tier as well, just in case.
Ooh.
Yeah, it looks like they won't need it.
And Cards getting that quick kill, moving on to Giovanni.
Oh, and the lead extends ever so more.
And Sabrina doing absolutely nothing on Forky's side. Just giving him nothing to work with.
Yeah, that is just the brutal nature of PPL. Sometimes you just aren't given an opportunity for force kill.
Yeah, like the force kill, a force kill requires two. It requires you to be on your chaining game and actually have the right pattern of blocks to top them off, but it also requires the AI to help you out a little bit. You know, it's not all you. Sometimes you got to get lucky with the AI, and Sabrina is just not cooperating right now.
Yeah, Sabrina actually luring the higher garbage and ultimately clearing that. And then there she goes, clearing the lower one. Now, another thing you gotta wonder is, if you have a nice board for a long chain, you gotta figure that the AI also has a good setup for a long chain too.
And once again, Sabrina just doing nothing. I'm like literally glued to Forky's side right now, just waiting for Sabrina to do anything else, and she's not doing it.
Cards now with a 5-stage lead.
Oh man.
Are we gonna need Mewtwo to make this a closer race?
I'm honestly hoping not. I'm like kind of dumbfounded at how bad Sabrina's actually being right now. She's doing absolutely nothing.
I mean, right now, Forky probably has a lot of needs for Sabrina, but we're not gonna tell you them on here.
Oh, it looks like she's actually clearing. She's actually chaining now.
I'm ready. Are you?
That was. Unfortunately, Forky wasn't prepared, and his timing was just a little bit off. And that looks like he's gonna do some hard reset strats here.
Oh, breaking out the hard resets now. Here we go.
I think he was noticing it as just like I was, that for some reason the AI is just being awful to you. By the way, a hard reset almost never happens, but it's kind of like a superstition that if you hard reset, you'll reset the RNG seed and get a little better luck. Whether or not that's true, it's just kind of a sort of meme, sort of superstition within the puzzle game community.
I think that's the case with every speedrunning community. Sometimes it actually means something, but other times,
not necessarily in this one, but hey, if it works, it works.
I mean, you gotta go with what works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, looking good for cards, and oh, there it is.
I mean, Sabrina actually did some work there.
Forky might have her.
One more line.
One more line.
Oh.
Forky,
Chat,
please.
that's a one more line.
Forky, you're killing me. Cards, though. This is his to lose at this point.
Oh, man.
Oh, no, Sabrina's just being rude, going second tier now, just...
Just BM.
Oh, man.
I mean, I've had some bad experiences with Sabrina, but I don't think I have ever had Sabrina be this torturous.
Oh, Sabrina... Forky just topped her off too late.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
So this lead for cards has just grown substantially.
We are at a 6-stage lead now.
Yeah, basically at this point, cards would need to get trolled so hard, like unbelievably so, and Forky needs to get on a tear to catch up.
Well, we're witnessing a massive troll with Sabrina. Could happen on any stage.
I know. I want to. I want to see this race be close, but I am so impressed by how awful Sabrina is right now.
Yeah, I have had some pretty rough stages, but this is getting up there.
Oh, and Cards getting that really nice top off there on Lorelei. He actually didn't have her topped off, but she raised at the last minute and didn't have anything and ended up losing. Oh, please be done. Oh, man.
Come on,
please be done.
Yeah.
It's over.
And meanwhile, on Card's side, it's on Bruno.
Bruno, yeah.
He's got himself. He's got his work cut out for him.
He's gonna need to go full Hulk mode here. Bruno actually doing something similar to what Sabrina was doing in that it's nothing.
Yeah, though, on Cards' end, I mean, he can basically, sort of relax for right now. So, I mean, he doesn't really have any reason to be worried at this point.
However, they're not watching each other play, and they are now at 23 minutes, and that's about where the last race finished, and the first race finished as well. So if I were them, I'd be peeking over at the SRL race channel looking for a done right about now.
And
oh
no!
Cards! Wow. Bruno, what was that?
Yeah, Cards just need to send one more line of garbage, and he had him. Like, that was a free kill right there.
Cards like just expending all of his ammunition just to have Bruno troll him just a little bit more. I'm thinking this is the troll that Forky really needed, as Forky's actually going to get the force kill on Blaine there as he moves on to Troll C.
Yeah, closing that gap just a little bit. Oh man, chat making fun of Hitmonchan. Come on, guys, be nice. Ooh, Cards might have him.
Ooh, but he's got the reds. And the greens lined up as well.
Yeah. Yeah, looking good for Forky here. Yeah,
that's looking really good. Closing the gap just a little bit more.
Oh, but this... Oh, no, it looked good. It looked really good.
Yeah, Bruno just got to those blues in time.
And Bruno's got the second tier there. Bruno's doing a lot of clearing. This actually could be bad for him. Oh, no! It's looking like he's gonna keep this going now.
Bruno's still clearing. No. Oh, this is looking good for Forky. Oh, wait.
Oh, but the raises?
Oh, he just dropped the garbage too late.
And nah, not quite.
I have to feel that if Forky dropped his garbage earlier, he might have had him.
Red's on the AI side there.
And that looks good on Bruno.
Oh, there it is.
Two
All right,
stages
so-
away from.
All right, Cards in the home stretch now.
You gotta be thinking, if I were Forky, sitting there at 28 minutes, and you're on stage 10, your opponent's probably, unless they're getting trolled too, gotta be close to finishing. Especially when 30 minutes tends to be around that time when people get to Mewtwo at this level.
We're starting to see the fatigue set in just a little bit here.
Yeah, right now at this point, they've probably been playing for, I would say, a little under an hour and a half.
Their fourth one in a row here.
But this game is a very API heavy game, so for most people, it doesn't take much for your hands to get a little bit tired, a little bit sore. And Forky with a nice force kill there on Team Rocket. Again, just closing the gap just a little bit. And I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll get another hard reset comeback win to take the entire tournament. I mean, that would just be sick.
Oh, Gary's
Card
looking
has a good
really
set.
low, though.
Oh, there it
And,
is.
that's going to be it. So we're going to see Cards move. First one moving into Mewtwo here.
Once again, all comes down to Mewtwo.
How bad is Mewtwo going to be today?
Yeah, this is championship stage for Cards of the Heart.
Mewtwo not doing himself any favors. Oh, he's stopping early, though, and raising. That's not going to be good.
Oh, that's not looking good.
Oh, no.
Have led with a 7. Did I miss that?
I think he did.
Yeah. Yeah, Mewtwo has a lot of blocks right now. So this has very good potential to go for a long time.
I'm going to win. I'm going to win.
Oh, it's looking
Maybe
good,
for
Forky. Good.
Yep.
Oh, he botched the greens. There it is. All right, he's only 3 back now.
The comeback begins now. Now or never.
Now, Cards' biggest hope here is that Mewtwo just clears way more than he needs to, and not clearing much of the garbage. Mewtwo has an awful tendency of just clearing a bunch of stuff, even when the garbage hasn't fallen yet.
He might have a chance here because of the steel block there.
I'm going to win.
Whoa.
You two went for a far 4 combo with the greens.
It felt like Mewtwo had infinite stop time there.
Yeah, at this point for Cards, he's gotta hope that Mewtwo runs out of blocks, because Mewtwo goes way too fast that you just cannot rely on him running out of time.
I'm going to win.
Now we're on both players here. We're moving into the 32-minute mark. Both of them have
I'm going to win.
both of them have got to be looking at that SRL channel, going,
Forky is only 2 back now, guys.
right now. Both of them have got to be like really nervous, waiting for that not done to happen at any moment. 32 minutes in. I'm sure both of them are thinking, where is it? How close am I? How close are they? Just gotta go.
Uh-oh. Mewtwo clearing a lot. Oh.
Oh, but he's oh no.
Got cleared for
Mewtwo
days.
still got a sizable stack still.
Bruno's doing a lot on his side, though.
I'm going to win.
Oh,
Oh, he got that little block, though.
I'm going
Here.
to win.
And Laura
And there
for
it
a
is.
while. Yep. Got the second clear.
Mewtwo.
So this might work out for Forky.
I'm going to
Oh,
win.
oh.
No, not quite.
Cool.
No, he's going to be at this for a while.
That's probably going to be a reset for Forky.
Cool.
Yeah.
Or, ooh,
Oh,
that,
wait.
Oh, that looks good. Oh, he's got
That's
second
awkward.
tier, though.
Oh, and Bruno used the second tier. No. Rude.
that was filthy.
I'm going to win.
Yeah, that was especially unlucky because that was a 6 combo block and it actually spawned 3 yellows.
I'm going to win.
Meanwhile, Card's side, he's reaching the 4-minute mark on Mewtwo.
Mewtwo just being Mewtwo.
I'm getting so nervous right now at Mewtwo.
Dude, I cannot imagine how nervous
Oh,
and you guys are.
goes down.
And Forky,
Is this happening?
15 seconds.
Is this happening?
He is 1 behind now.
Oh my god.
Is
I'm going to
If he quick kills Gary here, that will be the most hype comeback I've ever
going
seen.
to win.
Mewtwo's got second tier? He,
I'm going to win.
oh,
Oh,
I thought
and
for-
you use the second tier.
I thought it looked
Took
like
him
it
a-
was gonna do it.
I'm going
It took him a little bit to see it.
I'm
Ooh,
going
Gary,
to
what are you
he-
doing?
Gary.
Doing?
Wait.
What are you
Oh,
doing?
no
There's a
way!
tier right there!
No way!
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Oh my
My.
god.
No way.
Come on, Forky.
Holy
Cards
This
on a
Mewtwo.
5-minute Mewtwo.
Oh my god, you guys.
What
If
is
he quick
happening?
kills this Mewtwo right now, I don't even know.
I'm going to win.
Your chat is going crazy. Oh, this is
that
looking
looks
good for Forky.
That looks
This
good.
is looking good for Forky.
It's over.
What?
No, oh no!
Oh
No, no, no,
Oh,
no way!
no!
What is this?
I can't believe that.
He's got the blues too.
I'm going
I thought for sure it was over.
Oh, are you serious right now?
It is now an endurance match against Mewtwo. The only difference, Cards has significantly less stop time than Forky does.
Cards is going to be an interesting situation here because as the game goes on longer, you get less stop time. So, like, the stack raises extremely quickly. So,
Oh man, I'm shaking right now.
oof. Cards just needs to stay alive and hope Mewtwo just ends it.
On Forky's side, Mewtwo is not helping out. It is almost impossible to say who has the advantage in this match right now. Eventually, Mewtwo stops becoming a battle to kill Mewtwo and more of a battle to survive.
And Cards is definitely in that boat right now when you're at the 7-minute mark.
Keep in mind that if they reset or die to Mewtwo, they have to go back to Gary too.
Yes. Yeah, dying to Mewtwo now would just be absolutely crushing at this point.
Mewtwo looking really oh no, he's looking unhappy on Cards' side.
Got the purples.
What was that, Shane?
Oh, gets the yellows. Okay. Battle continues. Holy smokes.
Yeah, Card, both of them have been in this situation before. You're basically just treating this as versus at this point. Your opponent is topped out, and you're just trying to you're just trying to survive.
But Mewtwo's got the second tier also. Oh, but he ruined it.
Good for Cards. This looks good for Cards.
It might happen. This might be it.
Oh, there it is.
And it's over.
And a 7-minute and 42-second Mewtwo, and it's finally over.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think we could have asked for a more hype ending to that tournament, you guys.
Card cleanup crew strikes again.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
We need to give props to Forky here. That comeback was unreal.
Oh man.
Well,
that just
also
would have been
just
even
for-
more sick if it completed the comeback.
Also, just for Card just enduring the long Mewtwo like that, like one slip up at that point, and he was back at Gary too. Just wow.
Ah, that.
Looks like that's the end for Forky.
Yeah.
What? That clear didn't remove the garbage.
That was the weirdest clear. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out to this day who to blame for that turn of events. I think Alta Biscuit was the first one to mention that Mewtwo had to be the one to decide. So I think for now I'll just blame him.
Knowing the result, and it still got me tingling. That is S hard in this game.
Yeah, what a match.
We can only hope that most of the matches in this tournament will be half as thrilling as that conclusion was. Like, that whole thing was just a swing of emotions on both sides.
I have a feeling that most of them are going to be quite a bit quicker than that too.
I hope, because that's a really long time to have to go through that kind of affair. And that's also why Tayman promotes actually resetting on Mewtwo.
Hey, maybe it is time to follow Tayman strats. I mean, his times speak for themselves.
Yeah, we'll.
There we go, Tay strats all the way.
Yep, we'll have to see. Anyway, before we go, there is one more thing that we would like to go through, and that is to formally show you guys the distribution of our 4 groups. We showed you all 14 seeds as they laid themselves out for qualifying, but now we'll show you how that results in the individual groups. So in Group A, we have our number 1 seed, Tayman, along with 8 seed 6, 9 seed ilikebeingSmart, and 14 seed Ty. Now, you have to think Tayman, as strong as he is, will be the favorite to get the top seed in this group, but somehow I get the impression that the number 2 spot to move on to the bracket is a bit wide open, especially with the unknown that is Ty. I'll start this off with TA. How do you think this group is going to shake out?
Wide open's probably a fantastic way to put it. I mean, you look at the qualifying times in this group. 6 and ilikebeingSmart within 2 seconds of each other on hard mode, and Ty, for all of the jumping in late and just putting up a time, is not really that far behind. One thing's for sure, it's going to be some close skill set matches. Hopefully that translates into some really entertaining matches in a really tight fought group.
There is a chance in this group that there is a 3-way tie for second, and they might have to play off for it. I mean, this is one of the most unclear second person to pass through, whereas I think Tayman kind of has it on lock. He's quite a bit faster than the others.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that. Cards, this might be a good time to go over what the tiebreaker rules are real quick.
So, I don't expect the tiebreaker situation to be super complicated. If there is a 2-way tie for second, then we can just go on head-to-head results. If there does end up being a 3-way tie that we cannot resolve in any conceivable head-to-head fashion, then I'm just going to go with average race time to separate them. That should be enough of a varying factor that we would not expect to see a tie in that regard. And I should also note, if a player for whatever reason decides to forfeit a race, like through a rage quit or something like that, I'll reconsider this in extraordinary circumstances, but if someone does forfeit a race, then that race will be counted with a time of 1 full hour. So we do not want anyone to forfeit if they can help it. Just go ahead, finish out your race. We've got plenty of time. We don't need to worry about cutting hard mode races short just because the other person finishes. So if worst comes to worst and we have to go to a 3-way tiebreaker, we'll use average time. It's fine. It's not going to be a big deal. And yeah, this is one of the groups that could very easily come down to a 3-way tie. I would not be surprised. So let's take a look. Let's go through the rest of these rather quickly, since we did go through all the players. Anyway, Group B, it's two of us in this chat, myself and Lightning, along with Cozypocket and Buster Beachside. Lightning, you've already been calling this the group of death. So do you think it's going to be me and Cozy coming out of this group?
I think most likely it will be you and Cozy. But this is also, I think, the fastest average group for hard mode times. Me being the 3rd seed, I actually have the slowest hard mode qualifier. That being said, it's still faster than the bottom seed for the other groups. So this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, there's going to be some great matches out of this group. A lot of good speed in some odd shakeout of the way the seeds worked. All ended up grouped here together. So there's going to be some good early action here for sure.
All right then. Let's let's take a jump to one of the groups with only 3 players, despite what this layout will suggest. It is going to be Group C, and to make the make the last 2 groups even, I had to put in a dummy player that will not represent anyone that's actually participating in the tournaments. So just look at the people with avatars. And one of our Puzzle General members volunteered to be the dummy player. So there you go, Grant. You're the dummy player.
I do think that this group is probably most likely going to follow seeding. I think everyone here is consistent enough, and I actually think that everything will hopefully smoothly play out for TA's sake.
Yeah, I think this group is going to be Foxy is probably as safe as can be. Nothing's 100%, but I think he's definitely going to be the favorite to advance relatively easily out of this group based on his skill level. But I'm getting both nervous and excited for the match between me and Karaoke. I think that's very much going to be the deciding factor for that second person in this group, and is really going to be an exciting match for me, certainly, and I hope for everybody watching it as it comes down to one match to decide it in this particular group, I think.
Personally, I do think that Carrie's going to have to show me something I haven't seen before to get to the second spot in this group, but as we've said several times before, this game is strange, and a lot of strange things have happened in it, so I should not be surprised to see anything that happens in this group. So with that in mind, let's go right to the last group with 3 players. It's Group D with FFR Pro, flagalstan, and raikourider. Like this, there feels like such a concentration up top here. It seems like Raiko would have to get extremely lucky to have any chance of securing one of the 2 spots out of this group. Do you guys agree?
Oh, for sure. This is more top heavy than the previous group. I think it'll go ahead.
Having the 4-5 in the same group together as far as seeding, and I don't think the match between the 2 of them is going to disappoint between Flag and FFR.
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to that match for sure. So that's it. That is all of the groups and how they square out, and that is how we are going to proceed with this tournament over the next 4 weeks. All of these participants will have until October 4th. They'll have through the end of the day on October 4th to get all of their matches in, and then once we get the group stage done, we'll take a week off and then start the final double elimination bracket after that, and we'll really start to see the action heat up. So guys, any final thoughts on what you expect this tournament to be? Got any favorites? Who do you think's gonna win? Who you going with?
I think I'm gonna go with a rather unusual pick, and I'm going to go for the Dark Horse Foxy Man. I think he has a lot of room to improve and possibly overtake you and Tayman.
I don't know if Foxy's that much of a dark horse in this. I think the top 3 is kind of a take your pick. I'm going to go with Tayman. But I'm going to throw a dark horse pick in. My pick is Tayman, but my dark horse pick is Cozypocket.
Cozypocket. Interesting.
Oh, this is gonna be so intriguing. This is such a wide open group. I before this show, I was trying to handicap all of the players in my mind, and I had it in my mind that Tayman would have like a 40% chance to win this tournament. I would have a 30% chance. I would give a 15% chance to FFR Pro, 10% to Foxy Man, and then the rest of the field would have a 5% chance to win, which would almost surely be some combination of Flag and Cozypocket. But after reviewing all of these opponents today, I'm gonna have to reconsider that. Like, I still think Tayman's got this, but it's gonna be one of the toughest roads to the championship that we've seen in Puzzle General tournaments. So it should be very, very exciting to see, and I hope you guys tune in to see those matches as they happen on Puzzle Generals. Hopefully, if we get those matches live, we'll be able to bring them to you here. And if not, then tune in at 7 p.m. Eastern next Sunday. We will try to go over the matches that have happened and maybe rebroadcast one of the matches that have taken place in the tournament. Maybe even look back to another big match in Puzzle General history. We hope to bring you a recurring Sunday night show that will review the events of the past week in this tournament all month long. So make sure you tune into that, and follow us on Twitter at Puzzle General for those show announcements as they go live. So we're Litenang and Tetrisattakr and everyone else at Puzzle General. This has been Cards of the Heart, and until next time, everyone, thanks for watching.